All right. My name is Tahera Rene Christy, and I am the proud owner of Amour Propre, which means self-love in French. I manufacture personal hygiene products, and I also have a company called Tahera Consultancy, named after myself. Narcissist. I'm just kidding. No, it's my way of bringing my brand of business consulting and life coaching to a community of people who are interested in growing and having personal development skills that will last them a lifetime. I also recently started a catering company called Kalu Kitchen, and it stands for California, Louisiana. It's a mixture of California freshness with Louisiana flavor. So I cater as well on the side, which is really awesome. I've actually won $10,000 for my gumbo recipe. So that's been really exciting for me because my grandmother's life continues to live on even after her death, and I'm so excited. So I figured you'd use the one text right now. Yeah, my family is. I'm from Oakland. So born and raised Oakland, California, you know, yay, yes, I know. Oh yes, you can, thank you. So I am so excited to talk to you guys today, and this is super brief. I don't want to take up a lot of anybody's time, but I want it to be important and impactful. So if you have questions, feel free to raise your hand. I'm happy to answer the questions. I actually have 3 pillars that I want to talk to you guys about today when it comes to entrepreneurship and mindset. And as you can see, I've got my products in the background. I've got a myriad of things that I brought here to kind of just showcase not only my personality, but what I've been able to generate that has generated income for me and my family over the last 4 years that I've officially been in business. But the way that I've been able to do that is through mindset training. And a lot of people hear that buzz or they hear things like manifestation, but not a lot of people know how to implement that in their lives. And I've been able to successfully manifest the things that I want in my life just by the power of my thoughts and belief in my heart. And we, especially as Black folk, especially if you've gone to church, that's literally what they talk about. If you believe in your heart and your mind that Jesus Christ is Lord, you will be healed, right? And we say that, we rattle that off, but what does that really mean? If I have the thought, because our thoughts rule our mind, think about the creation of the world. God literally said with his mouth, a thought from his head out of his mouth, let there be light, and there was light. So he literally created light from his mouth. I think there's a second workshop going on at the same time. Now that I realize, I think we're dueling, so it's all good. So know that we are created in his image, and we have the same capability of manifesting with our thoughts first, and then with our mouth. But there's also that heart piece, right? So biblically, we also talk about a lot of times that the mind is the devil's workshop, and God doesn't deal with, doesn't deal with the mind, he deals with the heart, right? Because the heart is the center of your belief, whatever you believe in, you want to believe with it wholeheartedly, meaning with all of you. And so when you can connect the two things, controlling your own mind rather than saying the devil made me do it, controlling your mind, having that mindset to be able to control what you decide to put out of your own energy field and connect your passion and your desire for whatever it is that you want to learn, you're literally unstoppable. And most of us don't understand the concept of limitedlessness. You're unlimited in anything that you think, feel, and desire in this world. And you are the author and the finisher of that. We oftentimes give our power away to our parents, to our spouse, to our boss, to people, our kids. We become slaves of the things around us rather than being owners and authors of what's important to us. So whether you're working a 9-to-5, whether you're unemployed, whether you've got, a family. I was a single mom with 3 kids at one point, and we were living in Section 8 housing, and I barely had a place to live, but I was like, I can't do this anymore. I want more for my life, I want more for my family, I want more for my kids. And so I started doing, unconsciously doing mental workshops in my own head about how to change my mindset about the things that I believed and felt. I started telling myself, you are the greatest that ever walked the globe. You are capable of everything that you put your mind to. You are more than a conqueror. You're the head, you're the lender, not the borrower. And to the point where I started to believe it for myself, and then I started to change my mind. Now, this was not an overnight practice. This is like with anything else, whether you're playing basketball or you're scoring a musical, it's with consistency, it's with practice, right? And so it takes a little bit of delusion. Some people are too deluded, where they're delusional in an unhealthy way. But when I say a little delusional, it means you've got to speak it before it becomes real. If you look at your environment, look at the apartments here. That's why I was really hoping more residents would come, because I'm like, look, where you are is not where you have to be, because I started off my course in North Long Beach when I first moved to Long Beach from Oakland. And I lived in North Long Beach, and I was like, there are roaches here. I don't want this. I want out. I don't want to be here. And then I moved to Belmont Shores. Took a little bit of extra money, took a little bit of time, but my determination was the reason why I moved from here to there. And then from there, I said, I want to own a home. I want to buy a house. Like, how do I do? I was 24 years old. How do I buy a house? Ended up buying a condo in Lake Forest because I saw that I could have more. And it took a lot from me to do that. But I got there because of my mindset. Now, yes. No, you're right.
Because you're on fire right now. I didn't want to
No, you're
I
great.
just felt something.
Yeah.
So you talked about the mind.
Yes.
I agree with that. You talked about the soul.
Yes.
How do you personally believe the body plays a function of that?
Absolutely. Well, the body is your temple, right? And so with everything that you do, you want to incorporate the alignment, right? There's a trifecta of everything spirituality, right? The Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. And those things work in alignment. So same thing with your mind, with your heart. You want your mind to tell your body what to do. So for example, if we just go something basic, because I'm a woman, all women are dealing with like food and health related issues, right? I want a burger from McDonald's. They taste delicious. I want it with cheese too. I probably want an extra patty. That's what I want. That's what my mind is telling me, because mine is like, oh, I'm hungry. Oh, there's a McDonald's right there. I probably should have McDonald's. And the reality is you can also have a salad, and it's probably going to be better for your body. And my passion, my heart really wants the burger. My heart and my mind are in alignment, but my body suggests that I can't handle that. So I have to use some mental fortitude in order to keep driving past McDonald's, get to a Chipotle, and maybe get a chicken bowl with salad instead of the rice, and make a better decision knowing that I've got goals for myself. My birthday's next week. She's trying to be snatched, okay? She ain't got time for the BS. And so it becomes a matter of honoring yourself and your commitments, your integrity, that you actually exercise what you think, how you speak, with your passion into what you do. And something as basic as how we eat kind of helps us to see that. So when it comes to business, if I say to myself, I want to start a business, how do I start a business? Okay, great. Let me get a mentor. Let me get somebody who knows what they're doing and ask them a lot of questions. Don't just ask them questions. Your job is to implement what they taught you. I can't tell you, as a mentor, I hear people all the time who are like, okay, how do I start? What do I do? I'm like, look, I can tell you, I really can't. But are you going to do what I've asked? Are you going to do what I'm telling you need to do, and do it step by step? Is your integrity and your character in alignment enough to the point where I'm not wasting my time? Because if I'm going to give you my time, guess what my time is worth? Money. People literally pay me $300 or $400 an hour to tell them what to do. So if I'm going to give you my time, it's got to be worth it, right? I got to know that you're going to be an apprentice. You're going to soak it up. So me, and I'm here to talk about business mentorship, and so I want to give you guys a little bit of nuggets with that. I have 10 business mentors. 10. That's ridiculous. Who has 10 business mentors? People who really want to be successful in business. And if you're in business or you want to get in business and you don't have a mentor, you will fail. And failing is not a bad thing, but you will learn, hey, I probably should get some help. Whatever it is, I fail constantly. I fail up, though. I don't want to fail to the point where I'm devastated. I fail for the purpose of learning and doing something different the next time. And my integrity and my character suggests that when something happens that I don't necessarily want to happen, I'm going to try to implement something different that will work for me the next time. I know I went on another tangent, but did that answer your question?
No, I think the main two things that you said that spoke out to me was the integrity and character. And no one else sees that. Like, you can tell me as much as you want, but I don't know you. You know what I mean? So it's really like a personal choice you're making.
Yep.
And it's because I kind of look at it from I do coaching as well, but just from like I do more body, right? So I think the best way to get to your soul is for your mind and body first to work. And then it's like your soul is gonna be like, oh wow, we're actually in alignment. But I have those same thoughts while I'm going past, in and out, and then my heart starts telling me like, hey, this is what my body craves. It's like it craves it.
Right.
But it's just like dying to your flesh.
Yeah.
And then you really used a lot of biblical analogies, and I'm very strong in my faith as well. So when you're saying that, it's cool to hear confirmation from someone else, especially a woman, I think, who's already successful and came from something. So when I hear things that make sense to me from someone else who maybe is in a different background as me, it really wrecks. So I really want you to just keep eating up, because you're doing it. You really are.
It's important. Like, I remember sitting in these seats and asking a lot of questions, because I'm like, well, I can't be the only one who thinks like this. Like, I feel like, my heart has always had a desire for more. I was born and raised in the streets of Oakland, California. I lived in Serenity Park. If you know anything about Serenity Park, it's probably like the city of Watts and that block where it's nothing but gangs and drugs. And I got bused to a school outside of the area that I was in because my mom wanted more for me than what we could afford to live in, right? And so I'm so grateful for all of those programs and like what you guys have here, programs to at least give kids exposure. But like you saw with the kids here, I was like, look, hey, happy to have you here. Here's my ground rules so that you have an understanding. You have a choice you can make, stay here and be respectful of the rules, or you can bounce. And that's cool.
Free will.
We all got it. Obedience is better than sacrifice, because if you sacrifice and I have to implement what I say, my integrity suggests I'm gonna kick you out because I said after 3 times, but I gave you 3 opportunities. You know what I mean?
We do a program, we do a 3-strike rule.
That's, you have to, because that is your boundary,
Fool
right?
me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me.
Right.
Third time you think I'm Jesus.
Period.
Nah,
No.
Only
Try Jesus, don't try
only
me.
Jesus did it. I can give you 2.
Try Jesus, don't try me.
Don't
I'm still from the hood. Don't let this jacket
don't
fool
let
you.
this
You
be-
understand? You
don't
heard me?
Well, in my era, I'm older, so I wish we would have had more of this. Like when I was coming up, where more people would be a little bit more successful. But like when I was growing up, it was a lot of black businesses.
Yeah.
But like they said, when the drugs came into the community, it knocked everybody down. Then parents was passing on, and then people were selling, properties, giving up the businesses. Now it's like you can barely find black businesses and things. So it's like good that people are like you guys around, telling people and showing people how to get back to that. Because I
We
see
all
the
gotta
corner
tell.
store was always a lady, and she always gave the people credit when they didn't have the money, and then waited till the 1st or the 15th till they pay off their bill, and then they get more credit. That just kept them going for the month. But then I seen that, and I'm like, I don't want to live like this when I start having children and things, because I wanted more. And I went out, and I didn't start a business, but I was working. I got so many, my back, I had knee surgery, I got a heel spur, I got all kinds of things wrong with me because I just worked. I have 4 boys I birthed, and I adopted 6 of my sister kids, which is 1 a girl, and that was 11 kids, and I had a nephew that just came to live with me because he seen 11 I raised in Carson. And he seen that I was making sure everyone ate, everyone had clothes, everyone washed their clothes, and it was an option if you wanted to take a bath or not, because I wasn't forcing you. If you want to smell like that and go to school, you go right ahead. But I give you the option to take a bath and wash your clothes, and then if I had to come to the school, then I had to let them know, look, I have a washer and dryer, I have soap powder, I have everything. It's their choice to want to bathe, or they have their own soap, they have their own towel, they have everything. So it's no reason why they have to come to school like that. So once they started seeing that, then they started bathing a little bit more. Not much. They boys, they play basketball, and I kept them busy, and I did the best I can. But for have a mentor, I didn't have a mentor. I just did what I knew to do. I wasn't, my mom was stay-at-home mom on welfare. So I didn't see any of these things happening or going on. And I didn't know, I just knew I wanted more, and I didn't want my kids to have to just live from 1st to 15th. And so I had Section 8, and then I just gave that up to my boys so I could try to buy me a home. And I just wanted to let them see. I work at West LA College as a custodian. I kept saying, y'all go to college, go to school. And I didn't do it. So I checked in while I'm working. I'm going to school, getting paid to go to school and work at the same time. I didn't have to go nowhere. So I had to show them more than I could tell them to show, to see how it really is. And they catch on, but some of them didn't. Some of them did. Some of them doing a little bit more different stuff. But I just thank God that none of them is in trouble. None of them is like, gang banging or doing anything wrong. It's just I want a little bit more, and I push them, but I try to back off a little bit and let them do them. And it's just in me, it's just the way I was raised. But I wish I had like a lot more of mentorships and people talking to you and showing you and telling you that this can be done.
Yes. But the great part is you actually are a mentor. All of you are. You're all putting yourself in a position to be an example to people who are looking up to you, whether you see them seeing you or not.
Yeah.
And so you've instilled those seeds in the next generation, and just what I heard from you was consistency. I provided consistency to these kids that they would have never had I not taken over 6 of my own. I had my own children to raise, and you set the example by working hard. You did absolute opposite of what your mom did, and you went to school. You decided to better your mind and educate yourself. So kudos to you for being the example. You broke the generational curse.
Yeah.
So now you get to move forward. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I applaud you for that. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
So keep going, and don't be weary in doing good. So you've actually touched upon 2 of the points that I was going to make today, which is wonderful. Great segue. Number 1, you want to share the knowledge that you gain. As a business person, it's really hard for us to learn if we stay on an island unto ourselves. And I'll give you some statistics. Black-owned businesses account for 2.6% of all businesses in the United States of America. That means 98% of the other businesses are non-Black, and they don't employ Black people necessarily the way that we do, because oftentimes Black-owned businesses, we employ ourselves.
Does that statistic include Africans as well, or only African Americans?
Great question.
I'm usually both. I'm the same diaspora,
We're lumped.
but
We're
sometimes
lumped.
people separate.
They lump us. Same way they lump Hispanics, and that's why they ask sometimes Hispanic or non-Hispanic. You got Afro Latinos. It gets muddled. But even if it was 5%,
No, but
you know what I mean?
Not even just,
so even if it was higher, the point being, oftentimes we are on an island unto ourselves as entrepreneurs. We don't know what other entrepreneurs are doing because we don't employ enough people. We're solopreneurs. So the way that we become entrepreneurs that actually can rise above the one employee ourselves, we gotta collaborate. We gotta share our information. That's why I'm here. I drove 45 minutes from where I live to be here to teach you guys something. So whatever I've learned, I'm willing to give it. That's one of the things that I'm giving away here free, is a free hour of business consulting to all of you. So you'll get my information, we'll do that. And we'll do a one-on-one for whatever specific thing you want to grow for yourselves, because knowledge is power. When you heal one person, you can heal an entire community. I believe that in my heart. And number 2, the other thing I was gonna segue to is, it is inevitable that your business, no matter how passionate and excited and wonderful your idea is, you're gonna come up with some stumbling blocks. You're gonna come up with some issues. You're gonna have something fall through the cracks that should not have, and you have to problem solve. So having the mental and emotional fortitude to push past whatever issue you come up with, and not throw the baby out with the bathwater, but like, I knew this business wasn't gonna work. I knew it was gonna cost me more money than it was gonna give me. I knew it was. You gotta get through the mindset of failure is a bad thing. Because you had Jeff Bezos or Bill Gates, and you had Elon Musk. We had all these billionaires on our backs, literally billionaires on our backs. But you know how many times these men probably failed in their careers, and they decided to keep going because you've got to push through the difficulties. Like sis, you was telling me about this morning. You were like, my truck. And then I had to switch some stuff over, and everything wasn't where I wanted to. You were like, I wasn't gonna come. I'm glad you made it. Because you pushed past that barrier of something that didn't go the way you wanted it to go, to realize that not only getting here, you stole more stuff than I have since being here. Hello, number 1. Number 2, you're getting something that's gonna help you down the line that will make more money for you.
And it seems like every time I have that feeling, and I do go, I do well, and
That's
I meet people, and I talk to people, and I have a good time, and I'm like, wow, I wasn't gonna come, but something said, just go.
Just go.
And I
Just
know that's
do it.
God.
It's Nike too, girl. Just do it. That's the whole point.
My godson slogan is why not?
That's right. I love it.
Russell
So
Westbrook.
keep going, and that's the point. Is whenever you think
Why
that
not?
something won't work out the way you thought it should, for me, that's how God works.
Yeah.
He's not here to be your genie and say, hey God, I need you to do it like this, like that, at this particular time, with this particular person, in this particular circumstance.
Can I get it tomorrow?
Right. He is not a
When it don't
genie.
come, you be like, oh my
Right.
God, it failed me, but no.
Right.
And he like, what are you
Nigga, I don't work like that, period. You want to make God
It
laugh,
always
tell him
comes,
your
and it
plans.
always
Just
be
tell him
on
your
time.
plans.
You think
And the
about it on time.
reality is we have to work in tandem with God. We have to work in tandem with the universe. Just like we work in tandem with our mind, body, and our spirit, we have to work the same way with how the energy flows within us that motivates us to go out and do the things that we do. So I always like to focus on making very intentional asks of God, Very intentional. I'm not going to ask him for a Corvette. I don't even like small cars. I need an SUV, first of all. And thank God I have one because I asked for it. So I get specific with what I ask, and then I let God do what he's going to do with that ask because I've put it out there. The worst thing you could do to God is assume that he didn't hear you. Because guess what God never do? He'll never yell at you until you don't listen. Because when he gets to yelling, you did something where the point where he's violent when he yells, but he'll whisper. And if you're silent enough to hear the whisper, and that's the discipline that he can teach you if you ask for it. Like we were talking about patience. He's not going to just give you patience. You're going to have a circumstance that will teach you patience.
Talk about that specificity, right?
Yeah.
Not to make it about me, but maybe
No,
other people can
this is
relate.
about us. Move
Maybe
this
other
around.
People can relate, but I'm very ambitious.
Yeah.
Like the next person, right? And I have these desires of mine, and
Yeah.
obviously, being financially well off is obviously a big thing, right?
Sure.
Just for the security and safety, but kind of like yourself and maybe amongst us as well, have aspirations of helping others and wanting to make an influence. And influence next year. That's what Jamal does, what his brother does. I see the way you put that little slushie, it's making people happy, right? You were just saying it was good. How did you become specific? Because I feel like there's a billion thoughts running in my mind, and I always tell myself to be where my feet are, which is the best thing, right? Staying grounded
And then present.
And what do you? So this, like, if you had any nugget, like, talk about how did you become more specific, especially when you make that transition at 24 and you got that condo, which is great. Like, I'm paying attention, so I'm trying to connect the things myself.
Your hungry mind is the key, right? You have the desire to know. So God will put people in places that will help to feed that hunger and give you that information, that knowledge, and then it's your job to implement. That's the hardest part. Because knowledge will be thrown at you from every angle. We got social media. It's literally inundating us every day with everything that they think is important. So you have to create what is important to you. Hence why I start with talking about integrity and character, and it's very much a part of the conversation with all of this. Integrity is what you do when no one's watching. I say it to my kids all the time, like, what is integrity? What you do when no one's watching? You're right, because I'm not always going to be there. I'm not always going to be able to pat you on the back or say, hey, no, stop, or hey, you're going to have to pretend that I'm there. And God says the same thing about us. You got to pretend that God is not some figure in the sky floating down with blonde hair and blue eyes on some poster in a room. God for you has to be something tangible, has to be something real that you can talk to in the middle of the night when those thoughts happen. Those thoughts that interrupt your sleep. You've got to have the discernment to know what thoughts are thoughts that you need to wake yourself up, write down because they can be tangible and something real for you, and the ones to let flee and say, hey God, I'd like rest right now. Because we're talking about specifics, right? When we talk about what we want from God, it can be something so simple as rest, or something as simple as, like the other day I prayed, I said, God, overwhelm me. I'm ready for my business to overwhelm me. And I can handle a lot. And so far, my business has been busy, but I'm not overwhelmed. Why did I ask for that? I asked to be overwhelmed because I want to be so busy to the point where I can hire more people. I want to invest in my community, the people that I know are going to work really hard for me and see my vision come to fruition. So yes, God, overwhelm me. Do exceedingly and abundantly more than what I could even think or ask for, knowing I've already asked for the most. And then I got to step back and let him do what he does and trust that he will do it because he's done it before. He will do it again. If he did it before, he will do it again. You know what I mean? And it's that simple, but yet that complicated. It's complicated because, like you said, it's in our mind. How do we settle our mind to understand the obedience of the information we're learning is better than the sacrificial lamb of our talent, our time, and our treasure when we don't follow the path that was laid out in front of us.
One more time. Say it again.
I don't even remember what I said. What did I just say?
It was good though.
You were saying like it's more important to be obedient than
Yes.
sacrifice. But I need you to go in on that one.
Absolutely. Obedience is better than sacrifice. If we break that down, and I know I only have a couple minutes, so I'm going to wrap it up with this. It means if we're asking for specificity, specific information on how do I start a business?
XYZ.
How do I how do I raise a family? How do I become a man that's going to be strong enough to raise a family, have a good wife, whatever it is, whatever you ask for. And God says, I need you to do this. I need you to sacrifice this. I need you to give up this. I need you to add this. I need you to make me your everything. And you're like, oh, but Lord, I really like hanging out with the boys and we smoke cigars at the club. Wait, He's like, but I go to church on Sunday and I'll sing in the choir. And hold on. He said, all of you. All of you. Your time, your talent, your treasure. Because otherwise, if you don't, you will be sacrificing.
You can't give half to God, essentially. But like your mind and you're gonna hate one and despise the other, or love one and hate the other.
And if we are made in His image, and you are giving you half of you, your integrity.
Not half of a half.
So what are we doing here? Why are we wasting the time? Why are we wasting the talent? Why are we wasting the treasure? Why is your heart and your mind and your body not in alignment with what you asked for? It's what you asked for. I didn't ask for that. You asked for that. So if you're going to get real with yourself and get very specific with what you want and what you need and what you desire, you have to fall in alignment and let your character, what you say that you are, how you present yourself to the world, be consistent, so that your habits are consistent, so that when somebody says, hey, Jamal, I want you to be the one, I want you, Tahera, hey, I want you to be the one to come and speak to the people about business. What time we need to be there? 10 o'clock. All right, I'm here at 9:59 and 59 seconds. Do you hear me? Because my integrity suggests I'm going to be where I say I'm going to be. I'm going to do what I say I'm going to do, and I'm going to do it to the best of my ability. I don't care if I'm talking to 5 people or 5,000 people. I'm going to give the same energy. Because that's my integrity on the line. That's why when people do business with me, they know what to expect, because I've proven it over and over and over and over and over again. It's the consistency. I can give away all my products. I don't have to worry about if I sell something or if I don't, because why? God already knows what my needs are, and He will provide accordingly. So don't worry about what you think you're losing. Sacrifice. I'm going to obey. That's why I say I'm going to give an hour to each. We're going to have an hour together. Whatever you need. I got you. And that's the point, because that sacrifice of my time and my talent leads to the obedience of where God's trajectory has for my life. I believe that. I'm here physically, that's my body. I believe it in my heart, that's my heart. I'm giving my information from my mind. Time, talent, treasure, body, mind, spirit. Everything goes in threes. Everything is in alignment. So get yourself aligned with what you want